In the previous tutorials, we have learned some of the basic commands. Now in this tutorial, we will create this electrical single line diagram. If you are interested in previous set of tutorials, link to complete playlist is given in the description. We will create this drawing freehand, so we will not be using any dimension. You can use any template. I will be using a CAD ISO template. Click here, scroll down and select a CAD ISO. As we are creating this drawing freehand, therefore unit is not very important, but still I will show what is my setting. To check the unit, type UN, enter. I am using len type as decimal, precision is 4 digit, angle type is decimal, degree precision is 0 digit, and insertion scale is millimeter. Click on OK. Then I have kept here object snap tracking on. Then object snap is also on. If you click on the arrow near the object snap, then I have activated endpoint, midpoint, center, quadrant intersection and extension object snaps. So in this drawing, at first we will create this horizontal line and this vertical line. To create line, click on line, give the first point. For creating straight line, make ortho on, click here and give the second point. To come out of the line command, press enter. Then to repeat the last command, press enter. Then give first point, give second point, enter. Zoom it and pan it. Then I will create this rectangle with these horizontal two lines. Click on rectangle, give the first point, take your cursor away and click. Then zoom it. Then we will create one horizontal line. For that again, click on line. Then to locate this point, just take your cursor to the end point. Don't click there. We will track that point. Without clicking, take your cursor below. So it is tracking that point. Then click. Then again take your cursor to this endpoint and take your cursor below and click. Press enter. Now I want to create line at the same distance from below. So what I will do, I will mirror this line. Click on mirror, select this line, enter. Then first point of mirror line will be the midpoint of this vertical line. Click there, take your cursor away. Now ensure that your line is straight. Then click and erase source object. No. Now this shape is ready. Then we will move it and place it here. Click here on move. Select object, click outside in empty space and create window like this. So everything inside this window will be selected. Click, enter, take your cursor to this midpoint. This will be our base point. Click there. Then this end point will be our second point. Click there. So it has been placed. Then one vertical line, circle and again one vertical line. Click on line, take your cursor to this midpoint, take your cursor below and click. Enter. Then we need one circle. Now for circle we will use 2-point method so that it will be easy to create circle at this position. Click on this arrow and click on 2-point. Then first point of our circle will be this end point. Click there. Then take your cursor below and click. Then we need one vertical line. Click on line. Take your cursor to this quadrant. Click there. Take your cursor below and click. Then we need one small horizontal line. Click one more point. Press enter. Then next is to create these arcs. Now there are 6 arcs. At first we will create one arc. For this arc we will use this start center end method. Click on it, give the start point will be this end point. Then you will have to specify the center, so I will take this point as a center, click there, then take your cursor horizontal and click. This arc is ready. Then we want these arcs to be 6 numbers, so for that we will use array command. Click on rectangular array, then select this arc, enter. Then we want single row, then we will convert these rows as one, enter, take your cursor below, then it will update. And we want number of columns to be 6, enter. Then we want these arcs to be connecting, so for that what we will do, we will click on this arrow and take your cursor until it touches the previous arc, then click and escape. And again horizontal line and same shape, so we will copy this. At first we will copy this line, click on copy, select this line, enter, and base point will be this end point and second point will be the end point of this arc, enter. Then again press enter, then select all these objects. For this we can use crossing window. For that click on the right side and take your cursor on the left side. So this is a crossing window, the color of this window is green, and it will select all the objects within the window and the object crossed by this window. Click there, enter, then base point will be this end point and second point will be this end point. Press enter. Now actually we want this gap to be more, so what we can do, we can increase the scale of these arcs, or we can also reduce this length. For that we will stretch this object, click on stretch. For this crossing window is required, click on the right side, take your cursor above, select all the object except these lines, because we want to change the length of these lines. So we will be selecting these lines partially, not completely. Enter, give the base point, take your cursor above and click and zoom it. Then we want to increase this gap, we will increase the scale of this arc. For that click on scale, then select this arc, enter, then give the base point. This end point will be the base point and we will increase the scale by 1.3, enter. Then we will move this portion, click on move, select this object, enter, then select this point as a base point and give this point as a second point. Now it is looking proper as per our drawing. Then next will be to create this bottom portion. So what we can do, we can mirror this object. For that click on mirror, select object, enter, then give first point of mirror line. I want some gap between these two objects. So what I will do, I will keep some distance below and click here and take your cursor on the right side and click and erase source objects, no. Then next is this line and these four circles. Click on line, click here on the quadrant point, take your cursor below and click. Press enter. Then we will copy this circle. Click on copy, select this circle, enter. For base point, select this end point and select this end point. Then we want one more below, take it below and click enter. Then we will copy these two. Again click on copy, select these both circles, enter. We will give base point in the empty space, click there and take your cursor on the right side and click enter. Then to create these lines, again click on line, and first point will be this quadrant point. Click there, and this quadrant, enter, enter this midpoint, take your cursor above and click and zoom minus. Then same is required here. We'll copy it, click on copy, select object, enter, give the base point and give second point, enter. Then one horizontal line, click on line, click on this quadrant point and this quadrant point, press enter. So this is ready. Then we want one more horizontal line and this shape on upper side. Click on line, click on this quadrant point, take your cursor ahead and click, press enter. Then copy, select this object, enter. Then we need this quadrant point. Click on this quadrant and click on this end point, press enter. Then next is this vertical line and horizontal line. Click on line, click on this quadrant point, take your cursor below, take your cursor on the right side and click and enter. Then this horizontal line and again enter. Click on this midpoint, take your cursor ahead and click and enter. Then copy this shape. For that, click on copy, select object, enter. Then base point will be this quadrant point, click there, and second point will be this end point, click there, enter. And next is one circle here and here and here also. At first we will create this line and then we will copy this circle. Click on line, then click on this quadrant point, then track this point, take your cursor above and click and enter. Then we will copy this circle, click on copy, select this circle, enter, select this quadrant point and click on this end point. Same way, click here on the end point, enter. So both circles are created. Then we need one vertical line. Click on line, click on this quadrant and this quadrant. Enter, enter, click on this quadrant and we don't want this midpoint because it will create inclined line. So what we will do, we will just track this midpoint, take our cursor below and click. Then only it will create this line as a straight. If you connect it to the midpoint, it will create inclined line because length of this both line is different. Therefore, their midpoints are not matching. Then one circle and two horizontal lines. Click on copy, select this circle, enter, give this as a base point, take your cursor above and click and enter. Then create horizontal lines, click on line, click here, take your cursor on this side and click enter. To ensure that this line is at midpoint, what we will do, we will move this line. Click on move, select this object, enter, then select midpoint as a base point and click on this intersection point. Then copy this line. You can also type CO for copy, enter, select this object, enter, give the base point, take your cursor below and enter. Then trim the unwanted portion. Here is the trim command. Click on it and press enter. Then remove the unwanted objects. Press enter. Zoom minus. So this portion is also ready. Then next is horizontal line, then circle, one more horizontal line and two circles. Click on line, then click on this quadrant point, take your cursor ahead and click enter. Then click on this 2 point circle, give this as a first point, take your cursor ahead and click. Then again line, click on the quadrant point, take it ahead and click and enter. Then we will copy this circle, copy, select this circle, enter, then give this endpoint as a base point and this point as a second point, and we need one more circle here, so click here also, enter. Then one connecting line, click on line, then this quadrant to this quadrant, enter. Then there are two vertical lines and one inclined line. We can create this complete line, click on line, click on this quadrant, take your cursor ahead and click and enter. Then copy this circle, click on copy, select this circle, enter, select this quadrant and click here on the endpoint and enter. And create one vertical line, give first point, give second point, enter. Then copy this line, type CO, enter, select this line, enter, give the base point, take your cursor ahead and click enter. To match the midpoint, click on move, select these both objects, enter, then select this midpoint and put it on the intersection point. And we want this at the center of this line also. So what we will do, again click on move, select these both the objects, enter, then to catch the midpoint between these 2 points, press shift and right click and select mid between 2 points. Then click on this point and this point. So it will locate the midpoint. Then click on this midpoint. So it is at the center and we want one inclined line. Click on line. Then track this endpoint. Take it ahead. Click. Make ortho off for inclined line. Then track this endpoint and click and enter. So this is also ready. Then next is vertical line and we will connect back to this circle. Click on line and click on this quadrant point, then track this quadrant point, get back to your original position, make ortho on and click, and again click on this quadrant point, enter. So this shape is ready. Now there is bigger spacings, so we can stretch it to reduce the size. So just click on stretch, give the first point, give the second point for crossing window, enter. We will specify base point here and take your cursor on this side and click. Again enter. Again crossing window, enter. Then take it inside and click. Now it is looking proper. Same way, if you want, you can further reduce the size. So this complete portion is ready. Then next will be to create this portion. We will create one portion and we will copy it. So at first we will create one vertical line and these two circles and this arc. Click on line, give the first point, take your cursor below and click and enter. We will copy these two circles. Click on copy, select these two circles, enter, select this end point as a base point, then click on this end point, enter. Then we will move this circle below, click on move, select this circle, enter, give the base point, take your cursor below and click. Then we will create one arc here. For that, Click on this arrow below the arc and select this 3-point method. Then we want point somewhere here. For that, press shift and right click and select nearest. Then click here, make ortho off. Then other point will be somewhere here. Then again shift plus right click and select nearest, and it will be somewhere here. Click there. So here this shape is ready. Then one vertical line and two circles, or we want this shape. So what we will do, we will copy this. Click on copy, select this object, enter, select this quadrant as a base point, take your cursor on this side, just drag this quadrant point, take your cursor below and click enter. Then create one line, click on line, then click on this quadrant point and this quadrant point, press enter. Then one line, then again circle and one line and this shape. Then you can also type L for line, enter, then click on this quadrant, take your cursor below and click enter. Copy this circle, type CO, enter, select this circle, enter, select this endpoint and this endpoint, enter. Then one more line and this shape, type L, enter, click on this quadrant, take your cursor below and click enter. Then to create this shape, we will copy this circle. Click on copy, select this circle, enter, click on this quadrant point, click on this end point. Again, we will need one more. Click on this quadrant, enter. Then zoom it. Then take the line command. Suppose we will give one point somewhere here, and we will make this line tangent to this circle. For tangent, press shift, right click and select tangent and click on this circle, enter. Same way on this side, again line, give point here, then shift plus right click on tangent and click on this circle, enter. Then we want the same shape on the opposite side like this. So we'll mirror this. Click on mirror, select this line and circle, enter. Then our mirror line will be starting from this quadrant. Take your cursor on the right side, make ortho on and click on no. Then trim the unwanted portion. For that, type tr, enter, enter, then select the objects to be removed. So here this shape is created. Then next is this vertical line and horizontal line. Click on line, click on this quadrant point, take your cursor below, take your cursor on the right side and click and enter. Then click on this 2-point circle, give first point, then click second point. Then we want this middle at the quadrant of this circle. So we'll copy this, click on copy, select this object, enter. Then what we will do, we need to locate a base point in line with this quadrant. So take your cursor to this quadrant, drag this point and click, enter. Then trim it, type tr, enter, enter and click to remove, enter. Then we will copy this line, copy, select this object, enter, then Take this point as a base point, click on this quadrant, enter. Then again we will copy this, click on copy, select this object, enter, select this as a base point and this as a second point and enter. Then we want these lines to be hidden. For that, take your cursor to properties, then click here on bilayer in line type, then click on other, then click on load, then scroll it down and select this hidden. Okay and okay. Then select these lines and take your cursor to properties, click here and click on hidden and escape. I want larger gaps, for that type LTS, enter and increase the scale to 3 so it will be properly visible. Now this shape is ready. Then we need to move it to place near this previous object. So click on move, select this object, enter, give this point as a base point, make ortho off, and I want it here. We will pan it and see it. Okay, so we'll place it like this. Actually, we need to match this line with this circle. That means this circle. So what we will do? We will stretch this complete object above to match with this line. So for that, click on stretch, then click outside, create crossing window, then click, enter, then click on this quadrant point, take your cursor above, and we want straight line. So click on ortho mode on, and what we will do? We will press shift and right click and click on perpendicular, so it will be perfect. Now it is passing through that point. Now it is looking proper. Then we don't want remaining line, so we can trim it. Type TR, enter. Then here we will give this circle as a boundary line, enter and click on this line and this line, enter. Then to create one arc here, for that click here and click on start center end. Now our start point will be, drag this end point, take your cursor below, then center point will be this end point. Now I want arc on the opposite side, for that press Ctrl and take your cursor above and click. Then trim this line, type TR, enter, enter and click, enter. Then create one vertical line, click on line, click on this end point, take your cursor above and click. Then create one horizontal line. So we need to cross this line. So click here, then click below, drag this quadrant and click and enter. Then we want one arc here. Again click on the start center end, give this point as a start point. To catch this point, you can drag this intersection point, click this point as a center point and take your cursor ahead and click. Then trim, TR, enter, enter and click, enter. So this lines is also ready. Then we can stretch this portion below. Type S for stretch, enter, give the crossing window, enter, give the base point, take it below and click. And last will be to place the text. Zoom here. Then for text, click here on multi-line text. Then give first point, create small rectangle and click. Then type there L1 and increase the size. We will make it 10. Enter. At first we need to select this text and increase the size to 10. Enter. Click outside. Now it is still small. Double click. Select it and make it around 35. Enter. Click outside. Now it is proper. We'll copy it. Click on copy. Select this text. Enter. Give this endpoint as a base point and click on this next endpoint. Enter. Then make it L2. Double click on it. Select this one. Make it 2. Click outside. Again take your cursor on this text. Once it gets highlighted, then you will have to double click. Then change the text. Click outside. Then here copy all of them. Click on copy. Select all the text. Enter. Give this as a point, base point. Then take it below and click. Enter. Move it ahead. Click on move. Select this text. Enter. To the base point. Take it ahead and click. So here we will give T1, T2, T3. Double click. Make it T1, T2 and T3. Then we need to move this ahead. Click on move. Select this text. Enter. Give the base point. Take it away and click. Then next is this text and this M. For that we will copy this. Copy. Select this object. Enter. Click inside. And we want one here. Ortho off. You can also make ortho off by pressing F8. Then here, here, here and here. Then one is here. One is here. One is here. And one is here. Enter. Then here is R stop. Double click. Select it. R stop. Click outside. Then stop. Start. Double click. Stop. Double click. Select it. Start. And double click. Select R start. Click outside. Then I want size of this text to be smaller. For that select all of this text. Then type PR for properties. Enter. Then here we will make the text height to be 30. Enter and escape and click escape. Then move this text. M. Enter. Select this text. Enter. Give the base point. Give the second point. Place it at correct position. You can enter to repeat the move command. Enter. Select object. Enter. Give the base point. Give the second point. Same way here. Enter. Select this object. Enter. Give the base point. Give the second point. So this text is also done. Here we have to write M. Just double click and type M. Then select this text. Make it bold and increase the size to 45. Enter. Click outside. Then move it. Type M. Enter. Select this object. Enter and place it. So I think this is completely ready. So that's all. So in the next lecture we will learn next set of commands. Then we will solve some exercises. So thanks for watching. We will stop here.